Guidance on this issue and concluded there is some value to covering your face even if you don't have any symptoms.
To understand how face masks work, we need to trace back to its origin. During the Middle Ages, doctors and scientists believed in a theory called miasma, a disease caused by rotten and deadly air, and miasmas caused disease. Since all the dead bodies had a similar odor or bad smell must have killed people was simply the theory. The doctors didn't necessarily wear his masks to prevent any harmful infection, but to keep their air smelling fresh and miasma free. The idea was held until the mid-1800s when scientists discovered the germ theory, which breaks down on what we actually believe in today. Germs cause disease, and specific germs cause specific diseases. This was an instrumental discovery that disease might have been microscopic, but it was no longer considered invisible, and enforcing medical practices to clean their surgical instruments, washing their hands, and portable sanitary products was mandatory in their stations. Scientists and doctors started to notice patients in the hospital who had a disease that often nurses, patients, and other medical professions tend to get the same disease. It made sense to them that the physical touch can transmit disease, but also people thought it could travel through air. As you can see when a person coughs with a photography technique allowing us to see the flow of air. Shown on the video, it is clear on how far particles travel when someone breathes out. And when someone coughs, the respiratory particles travel further and faster. An image is shown when a person covers their cough with the arm or hand. Finally, this shows how particles travel when coughing while wearing a face mask. It is evident on how these actions and tools limit on how far these respiratory particles can travel. But whether a face mask works could also solely depend on what country you live. In East Asian countries, it's already considered a common practice since 1910. Some European countries have mandated face masks in public events. And the United States continues to share inconsistent message regarding if face masks work.
There's no reason to be walking around with a mask. It's not providing the perfect protection that people think that it is.
CDC recommends wearing cloth face coverings in public settings where other social distancing measures are difficult to maintain.
This is voluntary. I don't think I'm going to be doing it.
It would be better to illustrate on how a face mask works so people can understand and make a better judgment to utilize face masks on future disease and epidemics. Now, the problem with face masks is that it doesn't work all the same. There's face masks that aren't thick enough to filter anything, and if it was thick enough, it was hard for individuals to breathe. So the question was, how does face masks actually really even work? Well, it's not a simple question that can be answered. The thing is, no mask can guarantee that a person won't get infected at all, but it nonetheless lowers the chance of someone getting infected. The best way to think face masks is it acts as an extra layer of protection to a person, such as social distancing, hand washing are recommended from the Global Health Administration. It doesn't guarantee you will be immune to it, but it will definitely lower your odds of getting infected, as mentioned. First benefit, face masks actually prevent people from actually touching their faces. Second being, supposedly if someone sneezes a couple feet away from you, face masks will protect you from any bigger splashes. Third being, it helps those who don't have the same privileges of social distancing. We're talking about grocery clerks, cops, post office workers, or even medical professions who has to constantly see patients up close and deal with the disease. Because it is quite unsure yet if the aerosols could even infect a normal person. A common mask that protects against aerosols is the N95 respiratory. The American brand 3M redesigned some materials and came up with a loose mesh design which prevents pathogens pass through the fibers, and that's where the N95 respiratory name comes from. Its material ability to filter about 95% of aerosol particles. The face mask is built to seal both the mouth and the nose with no leakage. Many locations are in short of supply, and that's true for all disposable masks, not just the N95 itself. That's why US officials made a statement, unless you're a healthcare worker, you should not be using any surgical masks, which makes a lot of sense. A lot of these masks could be also made just purely at the comfort of your own home. And if you guys want Amazon Prime to order some of the future masks, check out the description down below. These masks often give higher odds of protection for those who wear the face masks correctly on. Just grab by the loose loops, keep your hands from the central part, keep your hands away from your face, and be careful not to touch it when you're outside. Put it off the side, and once you got home, and don't mess around with it. And then by the end of the day, just pop it in the washer, or you can even hand wash it. One realization we all need to know is that the face mask is not all about protecting yourself, it's about protecting the others around you as well. The East Asian countries have looked this practice as as part of their culture many years ago. However, Western countries say it's going against their human rights. As East Asian countries focus more, it's all about the public human rights, not individualistic human rights. This is the heavily debated topic in the Western culture compared to the East. As the East mainly focus on us, we as a whole, the Western culture focus on me, I, and more individualistic vocabularies. In the US, only recently started mandating certain department stores and businesses and educating the seriousness and the benefits of having a face mask at all
남에게
times.
전염시켜줄 수 있다는 그런 특성 때문에 개인의 인권보다는 공익적인 그런 요인에 대한 걸 많이 강조하는 그런 경향이 있는.
The bottom line is, things are going to be uncertain. The virus is invisible, often shown with no signs of symptoms for 5 days or even to a week. While an infected person with no symptoms can be still contagious, so it's important for people to have an extra layer of protection during a pandemic at uncertain times. Health researchers have called on governments to boost mask productions to prepare against any future outbreaks and remove the face mask wearing stigma through public education and what the benefits are. This incident allowed other people to take initiative, such as a senior at Eastern Kentucky University, Ashley, where she created a face mask for deaf and hard-hearing people so people can rely on lip reading and facial expressions to communicate effectively. Lawrence started to go GoFundMe page and its goal was about $3,000 but exceeded it within less than a week. Also, Disney launched a new line for potential shoppers from fan favorite Disney, Pixar, Marvel, and Star Wars. The masks come in packages of 4 for $19.99 and currently available for pre-order on Shop Disney and estimated to ship in June. There comes in 3 sizes, so small, medium, and large sizes, so both available for kids and kids at heart. As Edward Park, Sr., Vice President of Disney Store and Shop, said, "We realize this is a challenging time for families and wearing any type of mask can be daunting. Our hope is that Disney's clothed face masks featuring some of the most beloved characters will provide comfort to the families, fans, and communities that are so important to us." Disney is not the only company making the jump, as Trevco launched a partnership with Warner Brothers for Wonder Woman, Batman, and Superman logos. Major sports leagues such as the NBA and WNBA began selling masks featuring the 30 NBAs and 12 WNBA teams, the NFL selling the 32 teams, which also donates their proceeds. An act for those to keep Americans familiar and accustomed to an old practice from the Eastern countries for the benefit of a public health as a nation, not because they want to violate human rights, but improve the most important thing, which is public health and the well-being of others. Thank you so much for watching it to the end, made it to the end club. I really appreciate every single one of you guys who watch all these videos that I put some information to it and enjoy it. It means a lot. Leave a like if you found it educational and very insightful. Subscribe to my channel because I post a video just like this once a week. If you guys want to follow me on Instagram, BooMooJKim, like always. You guys been always tremendous. I was Boomoo, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.